Hello, and welcome back to the third episode of Greek Speaks. I am sick this week a little bit, so I'm sorry if my voice is not the best. If I decide this recording is trash, I will just skip this week probably. This week we were talking about Zeus, who is not my favorite god, if you can't tell. He has his moments of actual, legit leadership, like in the Titanomachy. Between those moments of leadership and strength, he has his weaknesses and just those really moments. So one thing that I haven't really introduced yet is the idea of Indo-European society. So there's this theory among linguistics, mythologists, and stuff like that, and people like that who, know more what they're talking about than I do. There's this theory that way back in the day, there was one language, one society that all of the ones that we know of today stemmed off of. So there's that idea, and so there's Zeus in the Greek pantheon, but there's one in Sanskrit called Deus Pater or something like that, who is also a sky god and can be conflated with Zeus. And so probably in that Eurocentric society, there was one sky god, and he spawned everybody else. And it's not just Zeus; it's Kronos, it's Athena, it's everybody. So one thing I'm reading the Iliad right now for class, so a lot of, in the sequential coming weeks, a lot of it will be about the Iliad, and the gods' behavior in the Iliad. The Olympians are very much a photocopy of normal life, and so they're quarreling, they're arguing, they're doing all this stuff, and Zeus is just like this, especially in the first scene where he's in with Leto, or not with Leto, with Themis. He's very much like the spouse that's, cheated on their spouse multiple times, but, he's not gonna hang around with other goddesses, and it's really funny. That this guy who defeated Typhonus and the Titans and is Lord of the Cosmos is just like, okay, yeah, I'll think about it, please leave before Hera gets here. So I don't like Zeus, if you can't tell. I feel like his primary function of being, after the theogony, after everything, his primary focus and relevance to Greek mythology is the father of everyone. And at one point in the Iliad, I think it's chapter 14, or book 14, Hera is trying to seduce him to let her side win. And the whole time, at some point, he's trying to, flirt back. And he's like, oh, I've never desired anyone more than the other 15 million people I've had sex with. And it's just like, Zeus, my dude. It's just very funny. Zeus and other gods are worshipped with epithets. So one of the ways that he was worshipped was Zeus Horikos. I'm sorry in advance if I'm butchering any of these, I probably am. And so he's, in that capacity, he's worshipped as the protector of oaths and stuff like that. There's also Zeus Xenius. I didn't write it down. He's also worshipped in a capacity of protecting guests and making sure the host is well respected and stuff like that. Another thing that's really important is in mythology in general is iconography. There are certain things that are attributed to Zeus, like the lightning bolt and bulls and eagles, that make that Zeus. So we could have a bearded figure, and if it has a lightning bolt on it, it's Zeus. But if you made an exact copy of it and had a trident, it's Poseidon. He is also in charge of divine order, so he, is in charge of it. There's also a really interesting idea in the Iliad where, yeah, he could do whatever he wants, but he would piss off the other gods, and that would disrupt the divine order he himself put in place. So in chapter 16 of the Iliad, Zeus has a mortal son named Sarpedon, and he gets killed. And Zeus knows that if he can get Sarpedon off the battlefield, he can win, or he can survive. And Hera's like, yeah, you could do that, but you're going to piss off the gods because we can't play favorites. So he has to, he has an obligation to the other gods that even if he's all powerful and can control them and is king, he still has to make sure the divine order is in place and is doing. So, and then he also has a cosmic role and a human role. The cosmic would be sky, weather, storms, everything we associate with Zeus. He would also look at human ideas, and that's just social custom. So going back to the Xenia and the guest friend relationship, he has a lot of consorts. That's part of the reason I don't like Zeus, is because he's a huge womanizer. So most of his consorts are female. That's where we get the Olympians like Leto and Zeus have Artemis and Apollo, and him and Metis have Athena. He does have a male love interest. His name is Ganymede. He was a young, handsome Trojan prince who Zeus kind of just like yoinked off the earth and took him to Olympus to be his cupbearer. And in the in the real world, kings and princes and upper people of society would have young girls and boys, and they would be the cupbearers, and they would also be the entertainment, be it sexual or just dancing and stuff like that. So again, the Olympians are reflecting that, the mortal world again, and I'm probably justifying it to a degree. And of course, his most famous consort is his wife Hera. We'll get her own episode next week. And she's very interesting. I will go into their relationship more next week. She bears him 3 children. It depends on the translation that you look at. They have at least Ares, Aletheia, and Hebe, who Ares is the god of war, Aletheia is the goddess of childbirth, and Hebe is the god of youth. They always canonically have those 3, but Hephaestus, very, not regularly, but to some degree, is Hera's own in some translations. One of the ways that Zeus is worshipped is literally by a snake, and he is linked to the fertility of a certain area and stuff like that, which is super interesting to me because you don't really associate Zeus and snakes all that often. Oh, and Zeus's name in Greek is where we get the word deity, because Greek it's spelled with a delta, and it kind of sounds like a deus, kind of. I'm a biased source because I don't like Zeus. I think he is a just terrible person who abuses his power and doesn't think about repercussions for things. And also, again, after the theogony and establishing the world order, his only function is just to kind of make heroes, and I'm just like, really? You've really nothing better to do. So that is episode 3 of Greek Speaks on Zeus. This one might be a little bit later because if I realize my voice is absolutely terrible on this, I will re-record it, or I might just skip a week, or I don't know. But again, we do have the Instagram at Greek Speaks. If people are like, hey, I want to follow you guys on Twitter, I might make a Twitter for it. I don't know. Have a good week.